Hi, I'm Alistair McCaig. I'm a market analyst here at IG. If we look outside the Dow Jones, and when we talk about trading in the US, we obviously look at the S&P 500 and also NASDAQ. And it's quite interesting to compare the two. The S&P 500 is much more of a broad index and does give a wider flavour of exactly how the US economy is trading. And being made up of 500 different companies, it does give a broader parameter, and therefore it's less prone, I guess, to having any one or two companies come out with particularly good or particularly bad news flow, and therefore adversely affect the index. So it does tend to get absorbed, any one company coming out with particularly price sensitive news flow. NASDAQ, on the other hand, is the flip side to that coin, and I guess this is where the weightings question comes back into the equation. And the NASDAQ is predominantly a sort of technology-derived index, and as such, Apple plays a very large part in it. Apple has performed magnificently over the course of the last 5 or 6 years, maybe in the last year or half a year, not so much, but it does really dominate that index. And as such, when Apple moves, the NASDAQ does tend to move with it. So it's not uncommon to see both the Dow Jones and the S&P 500 maybe potentially move in one direction, and NASDAQ, quite frankly, move in an opposite direction. Primarily due to the actions, the price actions that have been derived on the back of Apple's performance. I think any trader who looks to trade the NASDAQ index really must ensure that they're also fully aware of exactly how Apple are trading, because Apple does play such a large part in how the NASDAQ performs, and I think it would be foolhardy to purely trade that indice without being fully aware of exactly how the Apple share price is trading. It is such a large part of the index. It's not often that you'll see a day where Apple's up and the NASDAQ isn't up, and vice versa. If Apple's down, it's more likely than not that the NASDAQ will be down too. The NASDAQ index is a technology-based index, and I guess as we've seen in so much in regards to demographics of companies out there, online and technology-based companies are playing so much more of an important role in everyday life. And as such, in America, they took the decision some time ago to set up a more forward-looking, some might say, index, which investors can look to gain greater access to those companies that move arguably at the more cutting edge of technology.